right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's Stock Analysis Friday. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com. And once again, great to be here. All right, so today we've got October 17th. A couple things, we're going to go through some administrational items I need to go through before we get started. But I want to take a look at Bitcoin this morning. It looks like it's coming down to an area where we need it to find support. And if it doesn't, then probably some more downside on it. It's currently right around 105 and 171 right now. It did get as high as 125 at some point. That was a hopefully not a significant top, but certainly a short-term top. We're going to take a look at the charts and see what type of probability it is for it to go back higher than 125. So we will look at that. All right, so purpose of Stock Analysis Friday, of course, is for me to look up stocks of your interest and type those in caps. I see some coming in right now, which is great. And I will get to those. And let me know if you're long, short, or just thinking about perhaps going into that particular stock you're showing me. And I'll, customize the analysis for you. All right, I'm trying to think of anything else to tell you before we get going here. Next week, we're going to skip next Friday, all right, and pick it up the week after. I've got a business function next Friday, so I will not be here then, and then we'll resume normally after that. So just a heads up on that. All right, so let me go ahead and go through some of these administrational items, and of course that means I have to start with the risk involved in trading the financial markets, our presentation disclaimer. And we want you to know that past performance in the markets does not guarantee future performance. We also want you to realize we deal in a realm of probability, so no certainties. Nothing's guaranteed in the markets. And that's kind of what makes it tough, because you can do everything right in the markets, kind of like life, all right, and still sometimes end up on the short side. So you got to be careful about that. Always use risk control. And I've got a couple books I'll show you in just a moment that deal specifically with risk control. But that's a really important aspect of trading the financial markets. If you have good risk control, you could actually only be right half the time and still be a winner. So risk control is everything. All right. I've been preaching that now for 25 years, I guess, here on TradersCoach.com. So I continue to preach that because that does not change. Okay. It's always there. Also, too, what else can I say? Oh, the other thing, too, is any advice I give you today, please run that by your financial advisor or whoever manages your money. I don't know your personal situation, and they certainly should. And so they should have the final say. Okay. So I just like to cover all that kind of stuff, good stuff to cover. All right. There's my books on risk control. But I got to tell you, my new book, The Art of Trading, 2nd edition, which came out this year. All right. Also has risk control, all the theories and everything in that as well. That's a big book that covers everything. So if you're thinking about getting one book, The Art of Trading is the book you should get. It's 608 pages, and it covers, we even cover Elliott wave in that. And also we cover risk control and some of the other, of course, things you need to know. So that book's available. I'll put a link down below. Here's Bitcoin. I'm going to just start out with this, if you don't mind. So let me get my pointer up and working here, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so here was the target, okay, and we got into this target here. We still have a green PTF, so this has a 75% accuracy, and this is one of our indicators. And you can buy this alone. You don't have to buy our other software with this, so everything can be a la carte. So this indicator is indicating there's a 75% probability after this correction for it to take out the high here. So with that kind of probability, we're still, all right, looking at another leg up on Bitcoin. Now, we're down here at this gray area. Hopefully you can see that there at home. And we're right at the base of a fair value gap and an order block, which occurred back over the summer before the leg up created the new high. All right, so let's see if we get a turnaround here. we certainly have had an A, B, C correction, so that's a good sign. We've got liquidity down here, all right? So we'll see if this doesn't hold, then they're going to run liquidity. So we got to kind of keep an eye on that. So there we are, okay? We have bearish divergence on our OWL indicator over here, measuring momentum, all right? We've had no red part of the indicator in here, all right? And we do not have bearish divergence between here and here. So that leads me to believe that we probably, if we correct, we could go down a little lower into this fair value block is also a possibility. And that would bring it down to around 90,000. And as I said, it's about 105.5 right now. So if we don't get stability here, then our next situation is going to be coming right down here into this area here. Maybe take out equity, maybe not. But then at that particular point, we'd expect a turnaround. So if you're in Bitcoin and you're not out by now, I'll leave that up to you. But short-term traders would have been out on the break of this trend line here, because you can always go back in, all right? So on Bitcoin, if we don't see a turnaround in the next few days on this, then chances are we're going down to this fair value gap. And I'll draw this in real quick here for everybody, just so you can see it here. And that'll be between here and here. Okay, so that would be in the next area of support. And guess what? That's price action. All right, so that kind of stuff is what that course is going to teach. All right, so I just want to cover that because people are in Bitcoin, they're interested in it. And all right, so let's see. Let me go through your picks here now. All right, Ed, you're the first one up here. And KTOS, PSIX, CRDO, potentials. Okay, good. So you're not in these right now. So these are all potentials. All right, so KTOS, let's take a look at that one. And while that's loading, let me just go over here. Okay. All right, so I wish you had asked me this back in May, all right, when the first pyramid appeared in March. This is a great example for trends. The pyramids are king when it comes to trends. And notice you just trail your stops right up here, 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 and here. This one here, I don't know if we would have taken that one. I think it would have worked okay, but I think it was kind of in a consolidation area. So I don't like to take any trend trades until we break consolidation. All right, so certainly a possibility. It did hold, okay? But in any case, what a profit. If you took that one, you would have gotten in at 27. Your stop would definitely be here, but here's a 1B reversal to scale out as well. You could also draw a trend line, all right? And when the trend line breaks, if you want to get out or scale out, you could do that. All right, green PTFs and huge OWL. So we're going back up, okay? So, so far this pyramid is held. Now, let's draw in and see. Let me just make sure I grab the right point here. Yep, that's the right one. All right, so let's grab this and see. All right, so if this goes into a major correction, it will go down to 78 to 57. Now, this on the weekly chart will still be in wave 3. So it'll look something like this, possibly a 3, 4, 5. So kind of something like this. And then we work our way up to the new high. Now, this will not probably have a red OWL. So this will be a minor 4. And I'll make this a minor 3. And so when this finishes up here, then 3 will be complete here. Okay, so these are the waves. The chart on the left is the waves inside the waves on the chart on the right. All right, so now, with that said, okay, we don't have a red OWL here, so we don't yet really know conclusively if we're in a minor 4 inside, it's still inside of 3 on the daily chart, or if we're in a major 4, okay? I'm going to assume we're probably in a major 4, all right? And we'll probably get down in here. So for you, bring this back when we come back in 2 weeks, but you can keep an eye on it yourself, Ed, because you have our software. You don't want to get in and catch a falling knife. The trend is down. All right. Let's wait. What I would wait to do is see if it takes this pyramid out and comes back up, all right, and forms another pyramid, then that would be a better time to get in. Okay. So also too, this is a huge bearish bar here. So I think we took out two price bars here. Look at the rejection up here on this wick. So we had a little bit of it here, but that's huge over here. So I would say don't go in it yet. Okay. Let it retrace. Then you'll have a great opportunity. So I actually really like this one, but not for a buy now. But I do like it to go on the watch list. Okay. So let's KTOS. So I think it's got great momentum still left to the upside, but I think profit taking coming in right now. All right. PSIX. Let's see what's cooking on this bad boy. All right. So same thing, very similar type of thing. We did have a red here and here. So this, but we did not have another high. So we're probably still in wave 4, big rejection up here. Same type of thing here. Let's draw fibs. So you just want to be careful. It's kind of like, when you're day trading. It's like I was day trading the London market last night. So I was up pretty late doing that. And, you get FOMO when these things get up because you don't want to miss the next leg up. But you got to resist that, okay? Be smart, okay? Stick with your strategy. Try to get in early on new moves, all right? And if you get stopped out a few times while you're trying to get in, that's the name of the game, okay? But in any case here, it's basically ranging right now. You can see this range in here. So you've got a little bit of a range here. You've got something going on here like a pennant. We could break down and come down a little further into a retracement again. So you got to keep all that in mind. I'm just going to draw a quick retracement area here. We went into it a little bit here, bounced up, failed. So I think we're probably going to have one more leg down, maybe take out this equity here, and then we should see a rebound. So again, I would bring this back next in 2 weeks and we'll take a look at it. I like KTOS a little better, but this isn't bad either after the correction finishes. CRDO. Let's see what we got cooking there. Okay. Same similar thing here. So you're probably spotting using some type of scanner for these, I would think, or maybe news events come out, which is typical because the news always comes out after the stock has done something significant like this. But you kind of want to be a little bit careful about it. Pyramids nailed this trend as well. So, but it's too late. When you see a bunch of pyramids, like more than 4, you're getting into the premium area of the trend, and you don't want to be buying in there, okay? So again, this is coming down. Draw your fibs. We'll do it real quick here, but I think you kind of get the idea by now. And probably we've got a red owl, so we're probably heading down into this area here, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, I'll keep that fib up the next time we look at it. All right, Ed, thank you. Okay, good job. All right, Jim Blue, how are you? Good to see you here as well. And we'll keep moving here. And Ed is back. All right, Ed, you're busy these days. Okay, let's take a look at this. I love that. RIGL. Let's take a look at that bad boy. All right, so this one, at least on this one, which I like, is it looks like the correction now should end soon, okay? We no longer have a red PTF because it switched to red. We do have a red owl here. We have fairly bullishness over here on the weekly chart. So again, this is the weekly, this is the daily. All right, so here we have a green PTF. All right, nice, no divergence here, which is good. So we're coming right down into this fair value gap right here, okay? That's a big boy. All right, so here's the order block down here, okay, and fair value gap here. So we're starting to see a little bit of rejection, a little slowdown in the move. That's good. Now, it's very possible we could get a move up to this bearish order block and a move back down into the lower part. That usually is what happens, okay? So let's wait and see what that does. Now, let's take a look at the daily chart. Technically, all right, we don't have a break in structure, and of course we'll cover all this. But for right now, that's a trend down, so we'll keep an eye on it. It's definitely retraced enough for that leg up, but for right now, I would not go into that until after that one. We can, see some type of movement up to the upside that takes out some of the bearish fair value gaps and gets on top of them, so they become an inverted or inversion fair value gap. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. All right. So your next one is CAAP. Okay, so this is a little swingy. Notice that you could be right on the trend, but look at the swings on its way up. So it's kind of like voop, 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 right? So any stops that are close, you're going to get hit. And these moves here are fairly significant, from 17 to 10. That's a big swing. That's a big swing, getting a little narrower. You certainly got an uptrend. You'd have to draw the trend line like this. And then if you traded each individual swing, you'd have to draw it like this. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. We're going down on this swing here on the daily chart still. So that has not turned around. We don't have a change in structure. We have a brand new red PTF now on this swing down. So I would, let's just do this for a minute and see if you get a turnaround on that trend line. All right. That trend line is pretty substantial and that it's held for a long time. So if you get a close below it, that concerns me that this uptrend may be over. But if you get a close with another one of these type of long wick price bars, then you could probably go long and take the next swing up, but we're not there yet. Okay. So this is not one I would get into long term, but if you wanted to try to short term swing trade those blips, you could do that and try that. But I'm not going to recommend it because the trend is pretty extended, and you'd have to really be on it to trade those little minor swings inside the uptrend. Okay, not for everybody. All right, NTR. Let's take a look at that. All right, green PTF on the daily with, I guess, a high way up here. Wow, 117. That's a double your money if you can hold it that long enough. Everything looks so easy in hindsight. Look at the trend here. I mean, boom, look at the pyramids. Boom. Okay, which is why the pyramids are good, because they force you to stay in. Otherwise, your emotions are going to take you out as soon as you get a decent profit. That's the hard thing about trend trading, is you've got to be, and sometimes you've got to let a profit go to a loss, because if you're going to stay with the trend, when it pulls back against you, you still got to stay with it, right? So that's the hard part about trend trading, and you can get stopped out for a loss, and then you're sitting there saying, well, I let all that profit go. But then the next time you trade it, you take the profit, and then you get the big trend, and then you're sitting there wondering why you didn't stay in. I'm sure that's happened to everybody, right? Happens to me. All right. So emotions and risk control and discipline are everything in this business. All right. So on this one here, we had a nice move up. Pyramids did a great job. All right. And a nice move down. We're kind of in an area where we were in a range here. Okay. Kind of a tighter one down here, but maybe started here. I'm going to make it the tight. I'll just make it this right here, right off here. So if we draw that in here, okay, we got something like that. we do have a pyramid here. It's a tight one, okay? The only issue you could have here is if the range is a little bigger. And if we draw the range from here to here, make that a bigger range instead of the tighter one, then you're kind of still in the range, okay? So I think I would use that one, all right? Because most breakouts on a range like this can fail, do fail 80% of the time, all right? Now, we'll see if that pyramid holds. If we get another move back up and a close above the range, that might be okay for a long trade. But also too, you know, is this a manipulation? You know, here's accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So we could be going back down one more time, maybe to get this equity down here before we go up, or just take out that equity. So we need to have some proof of it breaking to the upside of that range before going along, taking out actually this previous high here. And, you know, right now it's kind of like still rangy. All right. So even if you wanted to draw a trend line like this, you could do that. Almost you can do two here. Hold on. All right. And guess what you got? Your famous pennant. So if you break below that, you're probably going down to the lower part of that range on the weekly. So I wouldn't do this yet. I think there's potential. All right. But we got to make sure that it breaks out and it's not going to range some more or take out the equity down there at the lower part of the channel. Okay. So on this one, let's put that also on the watch list, because once we have a little more information, that may help us decide more precisely of when to actually pull the trigger. Okay. All right. So there you have that. All right, Stuart, how are you? Okay, good to, oh, good. Gold. Everybody's going to be asking. I'm surprised we don't get more people asking about gold, right? All right, so GLD is our next one. And let's see how we can do on this one. Look at that. Woohoo. Okay. Now, this is one, all right. Boy, I'll tell you, I didn't see this thing being hyperbolic like this. All right. Usually when we get into this area here, you can start seeing I was drawing the micro channels on the weekly chart and the current one that broke back to the upside on the daily chart. Usually when you get a micro, you get a little pullback, and we got that and another leg up. But I certainly didn't expect a huge leg like that. All right. We still have green PTFs. It's not done yet. Okay. All right. So hopefully, Stuart, you're in it. Okay. And if you're in it, there's no reason to get out of it at this particular point. If you want to get in it, oh boy, I'll tell you, this goes against every model that I would want to do on this. Okay. For example, I'd want to wait for a pullback. That's just my nature. All right. Some people, you know, Al Brooks, for example, who also is a trader too. He says if you feel like being in the trend and it looks something like this, just get in it. Problem is that he knows when to get out. All right, you may not. So you got to be careful about getting into these upper levels. Now, with that said, all right, you got a little bit of a reversal here. So I'm thinking wait for the pullback. But if you're in it, I'm not going to recommend this for anybody right now. I just think there's too much risk getting in. Excuse me. Too much risk getting in. Okay, in these highs. So wait for the pullback. It's definitely going higher. All the indicators are saying so, but I would prefer a pullback on that. All right. And silver, how wonderful silver's been. Now, silver, of course, was one that we have been talking about, just like gold. And we had a breakout way back here. Okay. Let me draw the trend line. And we, on our MOR report, of course, we got into this one here, back in here on the breakout of that. We had like I think we actually had a pennant here. We were waiting for it to tell us what it was going to do. And so we had a breakout there. And again, no reason to get out of it. More highs are coming, but you may have to suffer a correction. And notice we had this week coming up. This is not the bullish of bars up here. Okay, it's a little bit of an indecision bar, but it's got a fairly good sized wick. So we'll see. and we got a little bit of a pullback. You can see on the daily, the huge, huge green. So is it going higher? Yes. Are we going to have a pullback? We might. All right. So those that are not in it may have a chance to get in it. And, you know, where could that pullback be? Well, if this is the top, we're looking at 43 to 39. So not, you know, huge in terms of price, but anyway, a pullback. But so if you went in long now, you'd have to realize that you could get a pullback into that area. And that fib retracement lines up with this fair value gap here on the weekly chart. So that's a very, very likely place prices will pull back when it's ready to pull back. So could we get a rebound right away next week and get more highs? Yes. Without the pullback, yes. And then we'd have to redraw the fibs. But also, too, we're starting to see signs or clues that it's getting ready to pull back. And that's this big wick. We'll see if that stays close of business today. All right. So keep an eye on it. But, you know, again, this is one, you know, we could look at silver and gold every week and we can just wait for the pullback. Believe me, you'll be happy if you wait because your entry will be really good. Okay, so that's that. Coinbase too, that's another one that broke out. And let me bring that up here, made a high. Okay, taking a little pause right now. Green PTFs on both. And correlated a little bit with the crypto market, obviously, because that's kind of the business it's in. But in any case, again, it's got a fair value gap with support here. We got green PTF, so it looks like more highs. We've got a fairly large fair value gap here. I drew the order block down here, but this is also a fair value gap here. All right, so that's kind of something that's interesting. Notice that prices went right down and reversed, and now they're coming back down. So at this particular point, I would wait for another reversal to the upside because we also have an order block over here, right? So let's see if we, you know, close below that. And if so, we may be going back inside the fair value gap again, okay? So we'll see, all right? Again, crypto's at a key area for a turnaround. This kind of is too, because we have a current fair value gap and an order block for this leg that we're in right now. Okay, we need to see rejection off that gray area. So I'm not going to recommend this one now, but this pullback, including Bitcoin, could give everybody an opportunity for another buy. Okay, so I don't look at this as a bad thing. I look at this as an opportunity. Okay, all right, so that is all three of those good ones. All right, and let's see what else we got. Links. Frank, how are you? Good to see you here. Frank, okay. CRPB, let me type that one in. And Frank, from last week, you said I should have a pullback to 11. I'm still slightly long, but sold a bunch. Okay, so, all right. So let's see. Pull back to 11. Why would I say that? Okay. We hit the upper level order area here. Well, structure there, not so much an order block, but structure. Okay, we got a green PTF. So I probably said we're due for a pullback at some point. We don't have it yet. All right, so you're still long, which is a good thing. Okay. Again, Frank, it looks to me like it's going higher. All right, my target would be 26 to 39. All right, if it pulls back on this little run up, we probably at this point get to 15 and a half to 13. That is possible. But, you know, for right now, since you have it, I would just hold it. Now, if you don't want to hold it to that pullback, okay, draw a trend line, okay? But I can tell you, if it breaks that trend line, it's almost going to be in the fib area anyway, so you might want to do a tighter one like that, okay? And then if it breaks that, you can get out, all right, and wait for the next major retracement down into this area if this top holds for right now. You know, we have to redraw these every time we get a new high. So anyway, yeah, so that's where it is. I think probably what I was telling you at the time you asked me is if we get a pullback, where is it going to be? Okay. And right now we're in an area here on the weekly chart. It'll be interesting to see if we go above this gray area and close, or reject it and then come down into the retracement zone. Okay. So you can keep an eye on that. All right. All right. And let's see. IWM. See what that one's doing. Okay. All right. So you want to short this one. It's not quite time yet. I think a short eventually will be good. But for right now, you know, what I would do is just draw a trend line, okay, on these. And look how hyperbolic this is over here. Let me grab this on the weekly chart. Look at that. All right. So if you can draw a hyperbolic like that, that means that usually any correction out of that hyperbolic move should be temporary with more highs coming, okay? So that's important. I know they have red PTFs right now, but for right now, we did break the high here, and we did get a lot of rejection. So that's kind of interesting, okay? So I would wait on this a little bit, okay? We're probably due for a 50% retracement off this. So we're probably going to come down. Well, I'll just draw it over here. So if that's a high there and we do get a 50% retracement, we're probably looking somewhere in there, okay? All right, so we'll keep an eye on that one. This is a little tricky one here. I'd have to analyze this a little bit more because the PTFs are red. So the PTFs are saying basically eventually it's going to take that low out. But I think we got one more high even after a pullback on this before it comes down, okay? So not quite ready to short. If you wanted to short it when it closes below the trend line on the daily, you could do that. Put your stop right here and try to catch that next swing down, okay? All right, diamonds. Same thing on the diamonds, pretty much. The only difference is no red PTFs. All right. This one looks like it's probably, we drew a trend line like that. Okay, it's broken the trend line, okay? If you wanted a little more confirmation, you could draw it here and wait for the break there. But technically, we didn't make new highs there. So the trend line really should be right about there, okay? So kind of a micro channel here as well. You got to be a little careful on this because that's a pretty strong momentum move up. So if you short that, you could get one more leg up. So you got to kind of be pretty quick to look and see, even if you're short here, where to get out, okay? So keep an eye on that. You can take a fib here. Take a conservative fib there. Maybe it will get down to this area here. So that's kind of where we're at now. I think even if it pulls back here, we got one more leg up. Okay. So just be careful on that. Don't think we're quite ready. And that's, you know, the MOR report, Frank, which I think you're a member of, that would help you on this because we're really pretty detailed on where we think the top is going to be on these indexes, okay? And that would help you. All right, Ed, let's see, AUR. All right, down 13%, thinking of dollar cost averaging for a long. Okay, little thing on dollar cost averaging, okay? A lot of professional traders do it, okay? I do it sometimes, I'll be honest with you. But you got to be really careful with it, and you have to still have a place that you're going to call it quits. You don't want to keep dollar cost averaging because you can wipe an account out that way, right? So you got to be careful with that. And, you know, especially if you're day trading, I'm telling you, if you're day trading, it is so tempting to dollar cost average. In other words, now they're going to run equity, I'll buy again here. All right. Then all of a sudden the trend gets extreme and your losses are compounding. That's the problem. I guarantee you, if you dollar cost average, especially on a prop account, you will get busted before you reach profit. I almost take that bet. You may win for a week or 2 weeks, but eventually you'll do it and get wiped out. All right, so got to be careful with these dollar cost averaging. Okay, however, all right, let's take a look at that. You got a green PTF, you've got to move down, okay? So let's draw fibs and see what's cooking, okay? To me, it looks like they're going to take this equity out down here at 5, okay? They'll probably run this one, maybe 474, all right? In the extreme case, they'll reverse the trend and bring it all the way down, okay? Now, let's look at the bigger context of what's going on. All right, huge bearish fair value gap. That held, by the way. Okay, so there that is. So tell me why you think this is a good place to dollar cost average. I do not see it as a good place. Okay, it's an emotional place. Okay, it gives me a chance to get in at a lower price. Okay, that's good, but I don't see a turnaround yet. Okay, if you're going to dollar cost average, wait for a turnaround, and then you can add on, and chances you'll still be below your original entry. So pyramids are still down. Trend lines, you got one here you could draw. You also have another short-term one you can draw here. Okay, you have one you can draw here at this point. All right, so you're still heading down. Okay, so be careful of the dollar cost averaging. Now, what do you have? You don't have bullish divergence because we don't have a low here. So this was respected. Okay, you're below the fib retracement. So if you wanted to add in once you get a turnaround, you could certainly do that. Okay, and then I would put your stop for everything under whatever the low is. Okay, before the turnaround. Right? Don't dollar cost average all the way down to $2. Okay, so you know there's got to be a line in the sand. Okay, even if you're going to dollar cost average. Okay, so there you have that. You know, taking losses is not fun. I hate taking losses. I hate getting stopped out. It's not fun. All right. However, I think to be good at this game, you have to be, I hate to say this, a good loser. Okay. You have to get out when you're supposed to, realign yourself with the market for your next trade. All right. So unfortunately, that's the way it works. You're not going to win every trade, but you need to have structure. Okay. That's really important. All right. Wow. Great. You know, I don't think we found one today that I would say looks really good. Okay. Because things are pulling back right now. All right. So on the watch list, I got a ton. KTOS. All right. RIGL, NTR, Silver, Gold, Coinbase, BTC. I can't even read my handwriting. I think it's PSIX. I think that's one there. That was one in the beginning. Yeah. PSIX. That was one on the watch list too. So some of those, you know, that are just moving up like gold and silver, if you're in those, you're good. Just hold that. Okay. You're in good shape there. All right. Edward, thank you. Thank you. All right. So I think that's it. I think I got them all. If I missed any bodies, let me know. Okay. But I think I did get them all. And just as a reminder, next week I won't be here. So We're going to take next week off, and then we'll resume the following week. Okay. All right. Anything else? Going once, going twice. I think that may be it. All right. Yep, I think that's good. Okay. Well, you guys have a great couple weeks. All right. And we'll see you soon. And thanks so much for all your picks this week. And again, don't forget, if the market's got you a little baffled, the whole purpose of the MOR report is to give you a structure on what's going on with these indexes. Okay. And just so you know, the markets, as I said earlier in my write-up, I expected a top in the markets at the end of this year to the first quarter in 2026. So we're getting to that area there. So you got to be a little bit astute and careful, all right, when you're picking your trades. Okay, swing trades only. Be a little careful of some long-term buys at this point because if we do go into a bear market, that will move pretty quickly, okay, to the downside. So we'll certainly see. All right, and I also cover the real estate market because that's a market as well in the MOR report. All right, other than that, we will see you back here soon. Have a great week, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'll put a little music on, and then we'll close the room.